Hello everyone, this is Nick Natpacker coming to you live from Virginia Beach, Virginia with my video log for Vampire Diaries Season 4, Episode 4, The Five. Before I even get started, have to give a shout out. Can I just say, Elijah, and furthermore, Elijah, rock on. Would love to see more Elijah. Yes, great to see Daniel Gillies back again, even if it is just in a flashback. Don't care. The more Elijah, the better. Anyway, so the five. Overall, decent episode. I'm starting to see a pattern where they'll have like a couple really intense episodes and they'll have some filler, to basically throw out the plot points, and then they'll have more intense episodes based off of those plot points. But this does answer quite a few questions. Actually, answers a whole shitload of questions. So let's roll right with it. Episode opens up. Damon and Stephanie are having a discussion, as usual. A stilted, yes, I'm still pissed off at you, but I'm biting my tongue for Elena's sake discussion. Damon walks in the door of the boarding house with a box of stuff, apparently illicitly acquired from Connor Jordan's trailer, which is now ashes. He's hoping that there's some things in there that he managed to recover that might answer some questions as to who Connor Jordan is, who he might be associated with, if he knows any other hunters, just pressing questions that they need answers to. At this point, Damon doesn't know that Connor Jordan is still alive. He thinks Connor Jordan is dead. Well, they both think that Connor Jordan is dead. And then Damon, while the two of them are discussing this, and of course they manage to bring up the whole, oh, are you so mad at me because your girlfriend fed for me? Yes, I'm still mad at you, but I'm choosing not to care right now because her well-being and her welfare is more important. Wow. So we're not crying big fat bunny tears now? He's finally decided to get over himself. If he was there, he would have realized that Damon didn't do it to get a high off it. He did it because she needed to feed. She was starving, but it's neither here nor there. Anyway, while they're discussing this, Damon gets a call from Carol, from Sheriff Forbes, who, incidentally, I don't know if you all noticed this, but it's more like she's rather heard and not seen these days. She used to have a much bigger role in the show, and now it's just like. Then again, you don't seem to see very many people in Mystic Falls anymore, unless they absolutely have to do with the plotline, like in the church sequences. It was integral for them to be there to move the plot along. Other than that, it's like there's nobody else in Mystic Falls but the kids. Anyway, he gets a call from Sheriff Forbes, and Liz tells him that when they were picking through the rubble at the hospital, that they did not find any of Connor Jordan's remains, which means either his body was stolen or, more likely scenario, he's not dead. This is not what Damon wanted to hear. He's like, great, just what I didn't need. And of course, Stefan hears this whole conversation. And he also, at the same time that they're talking about this, he lets it slip that he, Elena, and Bonnie are taking a road trip out to the local college to visit with the new professor that has taken over the occult studies department, classes, what have you, that Bonnie's grandmother was teaching after she died. Bonnie's wanting to talk with him. He actually called her and invited her to come up there because he thought she might have some things that she was interested in. And Damon sees this as a good opportunity to get Elena out of Mystic Falls and somewhere completely separate where she won't have to worry about her friends or Stefan, and he can have the autonomy to teach her how to feed without undue Stefan pressure, which is actually a good idea. I think she should have had that from the start. She should have been able to go away from Mystic Falls for a couple of weeks and just totally immerse herself into being a vampire and learn how to feed properly and learn how to deal with the bloodlust and learn how to deal with all of it. I think she would have fared a lot better than having Stefan's hands all over her and really not learning anything except how to puke up massive amounts of blood. But, you know, what can you do? Elena can never be away from Mystic Falls for very long. And when we're talking about a road trip with Elena, it must, of course, by tradition, always involve Damon. And they had to make up for the stupid motorcycle road trip thing from last episode with Stefan, because that just that didn't work. You know, the whole road trip vibe that we have when she's with Damon, because every time she's always had a road trip, it's always been with Damon, and it worked really well, and she's benefited from it in some massive way, and it always turned out, even though it might not have ended well, it was somehow a positive effect on her, and it brought them closer together. And this mini road trip that she took with Stefan on the motorcycle, I think, just started to drive a bigger wedge between them. I mean, when you're making out with your boyfriend in bed and you see his brother up above you instead, yeah, just kind of ruins the moment. But anyway, Stefan's like, "What? Excuse me, you're taking it where? By yourself?" I don't know if David had intended on telling him, but I think he was trying to be nice by at least giving him a heads up, saying, yeah, you know, she needs to learn how to feed, and this is the best way for her. College campus is full of college students. They're very unknowing and generally stupid and easy prey. Don't worry, she'll be fine. I'll make sure that she won't lose control. I promise. Because Stefan's afraid she will want the blood too much and she'll lose herself. But Damon assures him, I got this, bro. I got this. So the three of them leave and mosey on up to college. And Stefan is smart enough to put two and two together and realize that if Connor Jordan is alive, well, the only other person who was in the room at the time that this explosion went down was Klaus. So, process of elimination, Klaus probably has Connor Jordan. And in fact, he does. He has Connor Jordan strapped to something that looks vaguely familiar to what Rebecca had Damon strapped to. Only this actually has a back piece that he's laying against. It's like a bar, and he's laying against something that's supporting his back. So it's really not that torturesome. But he has been beating on him rather soundly, trying to get information out of him as to the nature of his relationship with the Five. And Connor really doesn't know jack. The only bit of information he's able to give, I can't remember if he gave this information to Klaus or if he gave it to Jeremy. But Stephanie shows up at Klaus's home and sees Connor Jordan there and makes some pithy remark to Klaus. Apparently they decide to, well, actually Klaus decides for him. He's like, what purpose is it going to serve for you to kill him? I mean, he's trying to act like he doesn't give a shit, but he's doing a really poor job of it because we all know that he really does give a shit. He might not necessarily care about what happens to this hunter, but he's not going to let him die either because he's Stefan. So I think he's kind of playing both sides against the middle. He's like trying to placate Klaus and give Klaus what he wants in order to keep the hunter alive long enough to figure out what there's obviously no way you can befriend this man. Connor Jordan is a lunatic. I mean, he's a fanatic, an absolute fanatic, and there's no way that you can change that. According to Klaus, Connor Jordan's a very powerful hunter, but he won't give Stefan the entirety of the information he wants unless Stefan does him a favor first. As we all know, Klaus and Rebecca are on the outs because Rebecca burned his house down, and then she left because he said she was worthless, and then he broke her neck. Yeah, big family mess. And they don't want anything to do, she doesn't want anything to do with him, but since Klaus is like mentally unable to be alone and always needs his family members around him at all times, or at least Rebecca anyway. Apparently he could give a fuck less about Elijah or Cole. He tells Stefan that there's information that she has specifically about this hunter. And she won't give it to me because she hates my guts, but she will give it to you. But I would like her to come over so that we can mend fences, start fresh. I mean, this hunter is a bigger deal than our petty squabbles. I figure if I can mend the fences with her, maybe that'll make things better. She'll be more willing to talk. If you get her over here, then I will give you the information that you need. And oh, by the way, just as an added piece of leverage, just so you won't fuck with me or try to let her know what's going on, he has one of his hybrids pick up Jeremy. The only piece of information he was able to get out of the hunter was the fact that this tattoo is invisible to everyone but Jeremy Gilbert. The tattoo itself is very important. It's not just a hunter's mark. It is very extremely important, and Klaus needs to know what it says. According to Klaus, the tattoo is some sort of map to a big ticket item, or big ticket something that Klaus wants his hands on. But he can't use the map because he can't see it. And ding ding, Jeremy is not only a really great hostage, and someone who can see beyond the sight, he's also an artist. Hey, 2 for 1. So he tells Stefan that if he doesn't bring Rebecca over so that they can make fences, he'll just kill Jeremy. And he very conveniently manages to take Jeremy's immortality ring off, so there's nothing that's keeping him alive except Klaus's good grace. Jeremy at first doesn't want anything to do with it, but he knows he's stuck between a rock and a hard place, and Klaus will not hesitate to kill him. So he really has no choice. And he sits with Connor Jordan and starts drawing it out. While all this is going on, Damon, Elena, and Bonnie arrive at the university, and they're kind of walking around, scoping things out. He's like, "This is perfect. Douchebag Central. We are gonna have such a good time." You can see the look on Damon's face. He's lit because he knows. I mean, there's students everywhere. This is the perfect place for her to get the practice that she needs. So they walk into the classroom. Well, this is a university, so it's not so much the classroom, it's more like a lecture hall. And they sit in on the occult studies lecture, which happens to be talking about, surprise of all things, which is the professor. He seems very enthusiastic when he's describing them, like he's really into it, but he comes off as a skeptic. Like he doesn't really believe it's real, but he loves the stories and the history and all of it, and the study of this. The students, of course, are your typical blasé college students, really don't give a shit and probably just need college, probably just need a course for a credit. And while he's giving this discussion, and Bonnie's attention is completely rapt, because it helps. It's not, I guess it helps a little bit that he's kind of good looking. He's no Damon, but he's easy on the eyes. Damon and Elena are having a candid discussion about feeding choices.